For your greeting, tutor, my name is Angie Norelli Kinchukwa, and the topic for today is perish, the thought of over-reliance on technology. First, let's not entertain the idea of becoming too dependent on technology. Well, it may seem drastic or a little bit dramatic, but relying on it excessively is not as innocent as it seemed. I don't want to say that we don't have to use the technology or use it is too bad for us because no, technology can be as supportive as a close companion. Um, when we utilize it properly. However, when we let it take over every part of our lives, we may end up sacrificing more than we actually gained. That's why that we have to consider the situation. We have to consider the way that we are living, and because we have to begin uh, to use our phones for nearly or almost everything. I mean, we use our phones, our computers, our iPad, the technology to shopping, to education, even to forming the connections, the relationships. That's why many people nowadays often avoid the direct conversations, opting instead to communicate through devices rather than spending quality time with their families. Many people choose to endlessly scroll through feeds, and this is something really concerning in our environment, in the society, and as well as that, developers have already made significant efforts to keep us engaged, and that's a reality because every day, or just too often, new applications are launched with features that make it impossible to disconnect because algorithms are crafted to foresee our actions before we even make a move. Mm, because often we are led to believe we have options, we have the control of these situations, but in reality, our behaviors are being manipulated. And following, we can see the family and the people or just before all those progress, all the technology, before the cell phones, the people wrote letters, the people gathered in parks, and the people exchanged stories, experiences face to face without interruptions, and life back then wasn't as hurried as it is now, and it felt more authentic, original than now. Because the families nowadays um, find themselves together in the living room in the house, but in silent because each person, the the kids, the parents are occupied with their uh, device. Uh, and it is a really bad impact in the most cases. So technology uh, can be as harmful as any addiction. This is really um, worry for us as the as that generation that had been controlled by the technology. But we also can say there are certain things and issues that machines cannot resolve. Mm, For example, we had an electrician to handle the electricity issues, and any application can manage that. So another important thing that we had to do is pay attention to our mental state, because we are gradually losing our human touch. We are losing the ability to think by ourselves. Um, and we have to remember, we have to be or to have present that there are things that we can do with technology, with our cell phones. For example, um, look after, run into actions that we can do only with people, only with our family, with our friends, with our classmates, with our colleagues. So we have to continue using language, um, fostering connections and thinking critically. That is important, even in the even more in the educational environment. So finally, relying heavily on technology is a choice we might come to regret. That's uh, that's a some idea that we have to remember every time we want to hide behind the technology. Because making a conscious decision to utilize the technology in a wisely way is some option and decision that we still have. We are free to uh, to choose the way that we want to live, that we want to do everything in our uh, daily routines and in every area. So technology is useful, but we don't have to let our reliance on technology. Thanks.